My world went black at the blink of an eye. My lungs burned like raging hellfire. That was the first thing that I noticed when I opened my eyes. Intense heat coated my body like a tight leather jacket. Everything around me was a gray, blurry mess. I felt something pull on my right arm. I looked, and I could see a blurry Amber tearing me out of the truck and yelling at me to move. I trudged out of the truck. I could hear the flames roar as she put my arm around her neck and moved us both away from the furious inferno. My ears were then assaulted by the boom of the exploding dually. My world once again dimmed to a black, empty void. When I awoke, my head was throbbing, and my sheets were soaked with sweat. I looked around and I noticed that I was back at the house.
Back with us?
He was sitting at a desk. His head was buried in a Stephen King book. The lamp at the desk damn near lit up half the room. What happened?
Amber told us that you guys crashed into a meteor that fell onto the road. Then you guys barely escaped before the truck burst into flames.
Did the supplies make it?
Luckily, they did. We noticed you two were gone for quite a while, so James and I went looking for you, and we found Amber carrying you down the road.
Wow.
That girl was carrying you like it was nothing, along with all the food and supplies.
Damn, that girl must be stronger than Hercules. Me and Abe laughed about that for a few minutes. It was good to line up the mood a little bit, being that I barely escaped with my life. I tried to move out to get out of the bed, but a sharp pain ran up my arm. I howled in pain as I fell back to the bed.
Careful there.
What the fuck?
You shattered your wrist in the crash, Simon.
Shit, I said, looking at my right hand. It was wrapped in a purple cast that went down my forearm. Abe rushed over to me.
Easy there, partner. You can't put too much weight on it.
Abe held out his hand, and I used my good hand to pull myself up to my feet.
Are you hungry? I made some furin makarna.
What?
It's a Turkish dish that is similar to mac and cheese. There's a little bit left from last night. We kind of pigged out on it while you were out.
How long was I out?
About 15 hours.
Jeez.
The girls and James are out in the backyard grilling some burgers and hot dogs.
Where's Chad?
He went out to find an electronics store to get some video games.
I could hear music playing from outside. I got out of bed and looked out a nearby window and found James cooking the food on the grill while the girls danced. They were dancing to the song Freeze by T-Pain and Chris Brown. I also noticed that a small Labrador puppy was running around the backyard and yapping like crazy. When did we get a dog?
Sarah found the dog outside when it was raining earlier. I told her it would be just another mouth to feed, but she wasn't having it. She was determined to keep it.
If worst comes to worst, we can let the dog go. I was just afraid it would be like the dogs at the bar in Beattyville. I told Abe about what happened to Chad's father back at the bar. He was horrified. Abe went on to tell me that when him and Spencer were leaving Indianapolis, the family that lived next door to them were torn apart by their German Shepherd and their Doberman Pinscher. I cringed at the thought. A man, woman, and 2 toddlers being eaten alive by their dogs. It just made me wonder how long we could last in a world like this one. Let's go outside. We went outside. James was done cooking the food, and everyone was sitting at the patio table enjoying their food.
It's alive. It's alive.
Yep.
Grab some grub and join the party.
I noticed that the music calmed down a little bit. The song, When Rainbows Never Die by the Still Drivers was playing. I put my hands in my pockets and I realized that the box of condoms was no longer there. My heart dropped into my stomach like a stone in pond, but I couldn't worry about that now. How'd you get the music?
Yeah, we found an old iPhone in Sarah and Chad's bedroom, as well as some speakers. This guy's got a pretty fucking random playlist.
I saw the puppy approach the table and it sat near everyone and started panting.
Hey there, Shamrock.
Shamrock.
It was on the dog's collar.
Sarah broke a piece of her hot dog off and gave it to the dog.
Hey, I didn't make all this food for the fucking dog.
Get a grip, James. Haven't you ever had a dog before?
I have, but food isn't something we can just blow like chump change anymore, okay?
The second that dog becomes more trouble than it's worth, I'm putting a bullet in his head. I thought to myself, it's the end of the fucking world. We can't let a dog eat up everything.
Hey guys.
Babe, you're back!
Sarah ran up to Chad. She threw her arms around him and kissed him.
Did you find some games?
I did. I found a PS3 and just hooked it up to the TV in the living room.
Groovy. I'm feeling nostalgic. Let's pop some games in.
I got Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and both Black Ops games and Madden 2012. I also have 4 controllers, so 4 of us can play at a time.
I'm in. I'm the oldest, so I'm player 1.
No, man.
James, that is the rule. Every gamer knows that. Are you getting in on this?
It will be more fun with all 4 of us.
Yeah, I'm up for some video games.
Alright, cool. Abraham, Chad, you guys fire up PlayStation. Me and Simon will be in the living room shortly.
Abe and Chad went back into the house. What's up?
I told Abraham that Spencer turned into one of those yellow-eyed things.
What? He's going to...
He's not gonna do anything, man. Fucking didn't even halfway phase the old dude. He thinks Spencer can be cured from that or some shit. He's probably in denial or something. So, it's best we keep it that way. We don't need a 6-foot-tall grief-struck nutcase on our hands. Not now.
Yeah, it's true.
So, let's just go inside, play some video games, wait it out.
Alright, I have to take a shit, so you guys can start the game without me. I didn't actually have to take a shit, but I was as nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof. I went upstairs to the bathroom and closed the door. I threw some water on my face to help myself calm down. I kept wondering who found the condoms. I just knew that if Amber found them, then my chances with her were as good as dead. I damn near had a heart attack when the bathroom door opened. It was Amber, and the first thing that I noticed was she was holding a box of children condoms that I had in my pocket. You can't just barge in like that. Amber walked in the bathroom and closed the door.
Do you have a girlfriend I don't know about?
No,
So you're trying to get in bed with one of his girls?
No, I don't know if... Amber put her hand on her hip and gave me that look. You know the look every female gives you when they catch you in a lie. I knew the jig was up and the best thing to do was own up to it. Alright, look. I have a thing for you and I just thought maybe...
Maybe? Is there something wrong with me?
No, of course not.
Did you think that I was a lesbian? I just want to know why you thought you wouldn't have a shot with me.
You look amazing. You have a pretty face, a great body. I figured you might have more options than just an average geek like me.
You're a pretty good-looking guy, Simon.
She wrapped her arms around my neck and gave me a seductive smile. I grinned as I felt my face turn red.
I'll make love to you.
Why?
With the world falling apart and cats and dogs eating people, I don't think we have a lot of options, so why not enjoy each other?
I wrapped my arms around her waist, and we began kissing. I slid my hands down her back and squeezed her ass. She moaned a little. I then reached for her white pink t-shirt and I pulled it off for her. My heart raced inside my chest. I swear that it sounded like a horse ring in the Kentucky Derby. I couldn't believe this was actually happening, and I was about to have sex for the first time. I was always embarrassed at the fact that I was 21 and I hadn't done the deed yet, but the time was finally here and I couldn't mess this up. Amber leaned forward. She put her hand on my crotch and I could feel myself get hard. She kissed my forehead and looked in my eyes.
I'm not having sex in the bathroom like some bar skank.
Alright. I picked up Amber bridal style.
Oh, what a gentleman.
I carried Amber into the room I woke up in. I closed the door with my foot, and I threw Amber on the bed. She giggled like a schoolgirl and began unhooking her bra. When she took it off and threw it across the room, I ripped off my shirt and took off my pants. I crawled in bed with Amber, as naked as the day I was born. We kissed some more, and then she put the condom on for me. Having sex for the first time was great. Amber was on top for most of the time, and we switched it up towards the end. I'm not going to lie. I didn't last very long. That wasn't the first time that I had done that, but usually it was with my right hand. We laid there and spooned for a few minutes as we both caught our breath.
Was this your first time?
Yeah.
I figured. Sex with virgins is usually slow and bumpy. My last boyfriend was a virgin.
Really?
Yeah, he was your typical sheltered church boy that had just left mommy and daddy.
Simon, it's Sarah. She's... Oh!
Dude, what the fuck? James looked dumbfounded about what he was seeing.
Oh my god, do you ever knock?
She yelled, covering herself with the blankets.
Look, Sarah ran into the woods chasing that fucking dog. We heard her screaming and we gotta go after her.
Okay, but...
Both of you, get dressed. Oh, Amber, nice tits.
James winked at her. Amber gave him the middle finger as he left the room laughing.
Fucking perv.
We got dressed and we ran outside to the backyard. Ashley, Uncle Bobby, Chad, and James were waiting for us. Uncle Bobby was holding his hunting rifle and a flashlight, and Ashley was holding her machine gun. What the hell happened?
That fucking dog heard something, ran into the woods, and then Sarah just chased after it. Next thing I know, I hear her screaming and the puppy yelping.
We heard something rustling in the woods. Ashley and Uncle Bobby readied their guns. We then saw Sarah running out of the woods, but before any of us could react, a wolf lunged at her from behind. Sarah screamed as she fell forward. The wolf began to tear into her neck. Suddenly, more wolves appeared from the forest and began to devour Sarah. Ashley and Uncle Bobby fired their guns at the wolves. That's when more of them showed up. They ran at us to keep us from interrupting the feeding frenzy. Ashley sprayed the wolves that were coming at us. Uncle Bobby shot at the wolves that were tearing at Sarah. She howled in pain as the savages tore flesh from her bones. That's when Chad ran over to the wolves.
Get the fuck out! No! Oh my god, no! No! Sarah! No! No! Oh my god, what the fuck? No!
One of them tried to attack him, but he cracked it on the nose with his fists. He tried to rip one of the wolves off of Sarah, but another wolf leapt on top of him. He held out his arm to keep it from going for his throat. Uncle Bobby shot the wolf in the head, killing it instantly. Chad pushed the dead wolf off of him. Ashley shot the rest of the wolves, wiping out the rest of the pack. We raced over to Sarah to see if we could save her. Chad turned away and began to vomit violently. From first glance, we could tell Sarah was dead. The wolves had eaten through most of her torso. Chunks of her face were torn off, and her arms and legs were riddled with claw marks and missing flesh. Chad was screaming and crying as he laid there in his own sick. Everyone else was throwing up and crying as well. I ran back in the house and began coughing violently. I then ran to the bathroom and began vomiting. I flushed the toilet and got into fetal position. I began to breathe heavily and rock back and forth. I screamed at the top of my lungs as tears streamed down my face. I sat there in the bathroom and cried myself to sleep. I woke up with a crick in my neck. My eyes burned and my cheeks had dried tears on them. I looked in the mirror. I was a mess. I was pale and my eyes were bloodshot red. I grabbed some paper towels and put some water on them. I wiped my face off and did my best to pull myself together. I walked out of the bathroom and went to the living room and found Amber, Ashley, and James sitting on the couch in silence. What's going on?
Abraham and Bobby are outside with Chad.
I turned to go outside.
You don't want to go out there, dude.
I made my way to the back door.
Simon! Simon!
I opened the door and walked outside. The bitter smell of blood infected the air. I saw Chad sobbing over Sarah's corpse. Abe and Uncle Bobby were trying to get him to get up, but Chad just yelled obscenities at them. I looked around the yard and saw buzzards eating the dead wolves. Some were trying to get over to Sarah, but were swatted away when they got too close. I felt someone grab me by my shirt collar. I was dragged aggressively back into the house. When I was back in the house, James let go of my shirt and slammed the door.
The fuck is wrong with you, man?
I was
Just what? Trying to see a dead body? That man's out there grieving over his childhood friend, and you just thought you'd have a peek? Just shut up, Simon. Don't let me catch you fucking out there again, got it?
Jesus Christ, man, what got into you?
Oh, maybe the realization that we're stuck in hell on earth has gotten into me, huh? The fact that we're not just gonna hit the bar after this is over and have a laugh about it. It's a survival of the fucking fittest. Do or die, get it? Do you know what that means? It means we're stuck in a world filled with savage animals and a billion barbarians. That's what's gotten into me, you sheltered fuckhead. So do us all a fucking favor, get your head out of your sorry ass, wake up and smell the fucking coffee, bud.
James stormed out of the kitchen and ran upstairs and into a room and slammed the door. I went into the living room and sat on the armchair. Ashley had gone upstairs, but Amber sat on the couch with her head in her hands. Are you okay?
I've never seen someone die like that. I mean, you see shit like that in horror movies and comic books, but not in real life.
It just happens. We eat farm animals in game. It's just the natural order animals eat each other. Amber gave me a stern look.
We aren't animals.
We are now. Our cities have fallen and have been pulled down to their level. Humans are basically rats roaming around the ruins of what used to be, scavenging for what food we can find.
You're right, Simon. You're absolutely right. When that riot broke out in Fort Lauderdale, I saw the absolute worst in people. Soldiers were gunning down people like it was nothing. People were taking what they could and beating and stabbing each other. After me and Ashley took those guns from the dead guards and stole that truck, I still had some hope even after all that shit.
We still have to have hope, Amber. Hope is what we hold on to when all else is lost.
I'm going to bed.
I am too. We went upstairs into our separate bedrooms. When I went to sleep, the only thing that went through my head besides the sound of Chad's screams was the knowledge of the fact that I was not safe. Not one bit.